Good morning, good morning. We're going to still work on Daniel. We're on chapter 3. And chapter 3 of Daniel talks about fiery furnace. Nebraska the king made an image of gold whose height was 80 cubits and the breadth therefore 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebraska the king sent together the prince, the governors and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebraska the king had set up. Then the prince, the governors and captains, the judges, treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebraska the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebraska had set up. Then a herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psalmist, dulcian, and all kinds of music, ye fell down and worship the golden image that Nebraska the king has set up. And who falleth not down and worshipeth shall the name that he be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore at that time when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people of the nations and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebraska the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spoke and said to the king Nebraska, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psalmist, dulcian, and all kinds of music. You can't lay on the book, baby. I need the book so I can read. And all kinds of music shall fall down, worship the golden image. And who is fall down, not down, and worshipeth, that he should be cast on into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not only thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. The Nebraska in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebraska spoke and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psalmist, dulcian, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well. But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebraska, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebraska full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spoke and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont be to be healed. And he commanded the most mighty men that we were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them to the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace is seething hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fire furnace. Stop! You cannot be up on the thing. The Nebraska the king was astounded, and rose up in haste, and spoke, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast these 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire. Stop. and may have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. The Nebraska came near to the mouth of the burning furnace and spoke, said, Sinaka, Meshika, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth, and come hither. Then Shanika, Meshach, and Abednego came forth from the midst of the fire, and the prince, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. The Nebraska spoke and said, Blessed be the God of Shanika, Melech, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trust in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve them nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every person, people, nation, language, which spoke anything miss against the gods Shinaka, Mesh, and Abednego, should be cut in pieces, and their houses should be made a dunghill, because there is no other gods that can deliver us of this sort. Then the king promoted Shanika, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Yeah, don't mind my spelling, because I do have a speech problem. Now we're going to try to we're going to go and talk about Balnisha. These are the key stories. So we're going to go into Balnisha's feast now, which is in chapter 4. Nebraska the king unto all people, nations, and language that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. Also it good to shew the signs and wonders that the high God hath wrought towards you. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is the everlasting kingdom, and his domain is from generation to generation. Nebraska was at rest in mine house, and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed, and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men in Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and all the soothsayers, and I told the dream, you can't be where the Bible is. I'm trying to read. Before them. But they did not make known unto him the interpretation therefore. But at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belshazar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told a dream, saying, O Belshazar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretations therefore. Thus were the visions of mine head in my bed. I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height there was... Stop. Right here, lay down. The tree grew and was drawn, and the height therefore reached into heaven, and the sight therefore to the end of all the earth. The leaves therefore were fair, and the fruit therefore much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had shadows under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the broth therefore, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and a holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, How down the tree, cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field. Let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and demanded by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomever he will, and setteth up over the barest of men. This dream I, King Nebraska, have seen. Now thou, O Belshazzar, declare the interpretation therefore, for as much as all wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astounded for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spoke and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation therefore trouble thee. Belshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream to be them that hate this, and the interpretation therefore to thine enemies. The tree as thou savest which grew strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight therefore to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit therefore much, and it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king, that art governed become strong, for thy greatness is grown, and reached on heaven the domains of the earth. And whereas the king saw a watching holy one coming down from heaven, saying, How hew the tree down, destroy, yet leave the stump of the roots therefore on the earth, even with a band on iron and brass, and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field till 7 times pass over him. This is a tribulation, O king, and this is a decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord the king, that they should drive thee from men, and that thy dwelling should be with thy beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as ox, and they shall wet there with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth is the kingdom of men, and giveth to whomever he will. And whereas they command to leave the stump of tree root, thy kingdom shall be served unto thee after that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. I would say chapter 4 is about a dream, interpretation. And wherefore, king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by wickedness, and thy intrigues by shewing mercy to the poor, if it may be lengthened of thy tranquility. All this came upon the king of Nebraska. At the end of 12 months he walked in the palace of the king of Babylon. The king spoke and said, It is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by might of my power and for the honor of my majesty. While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O king of Nebraska, to thee is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee. And they should drive thee from men, and thy dwelling should be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as ox, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth to whomever he will. The same hour the thing fulfilled by Nebraska. He was driven from men, and did eat grass as ox, and the body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, his nails like bird's claws. At the end of the days, I, Nebraska, lift up my eyes unto heaven. My understanding return unto me. I bless the Most High. Praise and honor him that liveth forever, whose domain is everlasting domain, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the habits of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he does according to his will in the army of heaven, and much in the habits of the earth, none who can say his hand, or say unto him, What dost thou? At the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and counsels of my Lord saw unto me, and establishing my kingdom, and its excellent majesty was added unto me. Now in Nebraska praise and exalt and honor the King of heavens, all whose works are truth, and his ways are judgment, and those that walk in pride be able to best. I want to say chapter 4 is about a dream, not Bowser's Feast. That doesn't make no sense. We're going to finish with chapter 5, because that way, and then tomorrow we're going to finish chapter 5 and 6. But right now, we've read so far the key stories from chapter 1 through 4. Tomorrow we will finish with chapter 5 and 6, and then we'll read the key stories of the Bible. I will be back later on with another reading. Enjoy your Sunday morning, and have a great morning.